Quote, "He's a man. He always tells me he's a man, and I am a woman, and there's a big difference between us. A woman's got no willpower. She can be used. You can just do with her whatever you want to. That's one of the things we always used to quarrel about, that he thinks the man and the woman must be yes boss, no boss. And I said to him, I can't do that. I'm a person in my own right. You're a person in your own right. You can't make me be like your slave or submissive to you. I know that I must be submissive to him because he's my husband, but not to that extent that he wants me to be." End quote.
We are going to take a deeper look into gender-based violence, which is currently one of South Africa's biggest issues. Gender-based violence is defined by the United Nations as any act that results in or is likely to result in physical, sexual, or psychological harm or suffering to women, including threats of such acts of coercion or arbitrary deprivations of liberty, whether occurring in public or private life. According to the Saartjie Baartman Center, there are 5 different types of abuse within gender-based violence, including physical, sexual, economical, emotional, and verbal. Examples of physical abuse include grabbing, punching, shoving, hitting, and throwing things at one another. Examples of sexual abuse include forcing or attempting to force another person to do any sexual act without his or her consent, raping, threatening to rape, including marital rape, or treating a partner in a sexual, humiliating manner. Examples of financial abuse include making or trying to make one financially dependent by maintaining total control over financial resources, stopping one from earning money, and withholding access to money. Examples of emotional abuse include undermining one's self of one's worth, damaging one's relationship with children, humiliating one in public or private, intimidating one, threatening physical harm to oneself, and being a jealous or possessive person. Examples of verbal abuse include calling one names and constantly shouting or swearing at one. Often, gender-based violence encompasses these various forms of abuse.
South Africa has one of the highest rates of violence against women in the world.
1 in 4 men admit to raping a woman. 40% of South African women will be raped in their lifetime.
South Africa is labeled the rape capital of the world.
According to one study, between 25 to 55% of women have experienced sexual violence from their partner. 95% of abuse is perpetrated by men on women.
The rate of female intimate homicide is 6 times the global average, and of those women who have been murdered, 50% have been killed by an intimate partner.
Typically, a combination of risk factors can lead to gender-based violence. Risk factors include gender, social, and economic inequalities, unemployment, poor parenting practices, and cultural norms that support violence.
Abusive men use violence as a way of controlling women and dealing with their own problems.
The man believes that the community will not respect rules of social networks if he does not retaliate against his partner using violence. Typically, men are found talking about violence as the enforcement of a masculine right. Unemployment is a major risk factor in gender-based violence because it causes financial dependency on one's partner.
The South African government gives 300 rand, which is equivalent to $30 US, for each child born. Unfortunately, men are often found taking the money and not using it for the good of the child.
Gender-based violence has many negative outcomes, including fatal and non-fatal injuries. Some non-fatal outcomes are physical injuries, including the reproductive system, chronic pain syndromes, mental health issues, and negative health behaviors. One growing issue we learned about from Hoke Lamela is that young girls and women are found prostituting themselves to truck drivers. Typically, the truck drivers are coming from the mines and giving the women money and food. This type of sexual risk-taking is a huge health concern for the community because of the transfer of HIV.
Fatal outcomes include homicide, suicide, maternal mortality, and AIDS-related diseases.
There are 3 levels to prevent gender-based violence, including primary, secondary, and tertiary. Primary prevention aims to stop violence from occurring at all. The Sankey Gender Justice Network is a nonprofit organization that works to create the necessary change for all people to enjoy healthy relationships that contribute to the development of societies.
Secondary prevention aims to end current violence and to provide victims with immediate assistance. Screening opportunities in various locations such as a general practitioner office, family planning clinics, and other health facilities are available throughout South Africa. Tertiary prevention aims to provide long-term care to those who have been victims of gender-based violence.
The Saartjie Baartman Center was the first multidisciplinary center for abused women and children in the country. They offer residential services and job skills. They are also included in primary prevention because they conduct research.
Mosaic is a community-based non-governmental organization with a specific focus on preventing and reducing abuse and domestic violence, particularly in women and youth living in disadvantaged communities. They offer social support groups and legal education advice. Women are abused in all cultures regardless of their education level, class, or religious belief.